We talk about rescue, but do we talk about the chemistry of the first minute? We talk about grooming, but do we talk about the neurological reset of the first bath? This is a journey through the systems of a life nearly lost. Every cell in this dog's body is a witness to a story we are only beginning to read. Welcome to the science of the reclamation. When we look at a dog in this state of advanced neglect, we aren't just looking at a dirty animal. We are looking at a system in total biological bankruptcy. To understand what we talk about, when we talk about healing, we have to understand the hierarchy of needs inside the canine body. Imagine the body as a city during a siege. When the food stops coming in, the city doesn't just stop. It begins to dismantle itself. First, the luxury services are cut off. This is the fur. The body stops sending protein and minerals to the hair follicles because hair doesn't keep the heart beating. The coat becomes brittle, loses its pigment, and eventually falls out in clumps. Next, the city shuts down the infrastructure. This is the fat stores. Every ounce of subcutaneous fat is burned away to keep the core temperature stable. When the fat is gone, the city begins to cannibalize its own buildings. This is the muscle wasting. We see the temporal muscles on the head sink in, the hollows behind the eyes, the sharp ridges of the scapula. The body is eating its own muscle tissue to provide the amino acids necessary to keep the diaphragm moving and the blood pumping. This is metabolic autophagy. The body is eating itself to stay alive. Every breath is a victory. Every heartbeat is a miracle of resource management. This dog is a survivor of a war that happened entirely in silence. What we talk about when we talk about flea-infested is often underestimated. We see the itching, but we don't see the fluid dynamics. A single female flea can consume 15 times her body weight in blood every single day. If a dog is carrying a colony of 500 fleas, that dog is losing a significant percentage of its total blood volume every 24 hours. This leads to iron deficiency anemia. The blood becomes thin, watery, and unable to carry oxygen efficiently. This is why neglected dogs are so lethargic. It isn't just that they are sad, it's that their cells are literally suffocating. Their brains are operating in a low oxygen state, which leads to the cognitive fog we see in their eyes. They aren't just staring into space. They are trying to process a world with a brain that is running on fumes. The flea dirt you see is actually dehydrated blood. It is a physical tally of the life force being stolen. The first chemical intervention is not just about killing bugs. It is about stopping the internal bleeding. The first bath is the most dangerous and most beautiful moment in a rescue. What we talk about here is thermoregulation. A dog this thin cannot hold on to heat. As soon as you get them wet, their body temperature can plummet. This is why the water must be a precise body-neutral temperature. But there is a psychological component as well. For a dog that has known only the sting of the elements, the weight of water is a terrifying new sensation. The hydrostatic pressure of the water on the skin sends a flood of signals to the spinal cord. It is the first time in years that the dog is receiving a uniform sensation. We aren't just washing away dirt. We are washing away history. The water reactivates the sensory map of the brain. Every sudsy stroke of the hand is a tactile reassurance. We are telling the nervous system, you can stand down. The skin is the largest organ of the body. In a neglected dog, this organ is compromised. The acid mantle, the thin protective film on the skin, is gone. The sebaceous glands have seized up. When we apply the medicated shampoo, we are performing chemical engineering. We are using antifungals to kill the yeast that thrives in the damp mats. We are using antibacterials to treat the pyoderma, skin infections hidden under the grime. But most importantly, we are using lipid replenishers. We are trying to glue the skin cells back together. This is the trance of relief. The itch that has defined his life for months is finally fading. For the first time, his brain can focus on something other than irritation. This is where trust begins, not in a treat, but in comfort. Once the dog is clean, we face the most difficult part of the reclamation, the refeeding. What we talk about when we talk about hunger is actually mitochondrial failure. If we give this dog a full bowl of food right now, we could kill him. This is refeeding syndrome. When a body has been starving, the electrolytes, potassium, magnesium, phosphate, are at dangerously low levels. A sudden insulin spike from a big meal will pull those electrolytes out of the blood and into the cells, causing the heart to stop or the lungs to fail. We talk about patience. We talk about grams. We feed him a specific recovery paste every 2 hours. We are looking for micro victories. We want to see the blood glucose stabilize. We want to see the kidney function return. Every gram of weight gained is a brick in the wall of his future. We aren't just feeding a dog. We are fueling a resurrection. As the ribs disappear under a new layer of muscle, we begin to talk about the shadows. This is the post-traumatic stress of the canine mind. We see the flinch response. We see the resource guarding. We see the separation anxiety. These are not behavioral problems. These are survival mechanisms. For a dog on the street, fear was his only friend. It kept him away from cars, away from cruel people, away from danger. To train this dog is to decondition a soldier. We use positive reinforcement, but it's deeper than that. We are looking for the play drive. The play drive is the luxury of the safe. A dog who plays is a dog who believes the world is no longer trying to kill him. The play bow is a biological declaration of peace. It requires a flexible spine and a fearless heart. Look at the focus in his eyes. The cloud is gone. He is no longer a victim. He is a partner. What we talk about at the end of this journey is witness. This dog survived because someone chose to look. Someone chose to see the masterpiece under the mess. There are thousands of shadows still out there. They are leaning against concrete walls, shivering in the rain, and fighting a war they cannot win alone. You have the power to be the witness. Subscribe to join our science-based rescue community. Like this video to show the world that every life is worth the reclamation. Share this story for the dogs who are still waiting in the dark, because what we talk about changes everything. As we transition into the third week of the reclamation, we observe a phenomenon known as the Great Shed. The original damaged fur, the hair that was grown during the period of starvation, begins to fall out in massive waves. To the untrained eye, this looks like a setback. But to the science-based rescuer, this is the dermatological renaissance. The body has finally received enough zinc, biotin, and omega fatty acids to begin primary follicle activation. The old hair was hollow, devoid of the medulla that gives hair its strength. The new hair pushing up from beneath is rich in melanin and keratin. This is the springtime of the skin. The old malnourished coat is making way for the recovery coat. Notice the luster. This is the sebum returning. The dog's skin is finally waterproof again. We must now talk about the body language of the recovered. A dog who has been isolated for a long time forgets the social geometry of his species. He doesn't know how to read the ear position of a friend or the tail height of a stranger. We introduce him to a stable pack. We watch the nose-to-nose greeting. This is the biochemical handshake. In these few seconds, the dogs exchange a wealth of information. Where have you been? What have you eaten? Are you a threat? He is learning the grammar of the pack. To lick is to say, I am a friend. I am here to learn. His social confidence is growing alongside his physical strength. He is no longer an I. He is a we. The gaunt shuffle of the first day has been replaced by the kinetic flow of a healthy predator. We talk about the angulation of the rear legs. We talk about the top line, the straight, strong line of the back from the shoulders to the tail. The atrophy in the hindquarters has been reversed. The gluteal muscles are now thick and powerful. When he runs, he is no longer lifting his legs. He is propelling his body. This is a feat of orthopedic recovery. The joints, once stiff from lack of synovial fluid in the body's joint lubricant, are now fluid and silent. Look at the extension. Look at the power. His body is no longer a cage. It is a vehicle. This is the physics of joy. He is reclaiming the space he was once afraid to occupy. The brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, is a protein that acts like Miracle-Gro for the brain. In a starved dog, BDNF levels are non-existent. In a recovering dog, these levels skyrocket. We talk about the spark. It's that moment when you look into the dog's eyes and someone is finally home. The dissociative stare, the way he used to look through you, is gone. Now he looks at you. He is predicting your movements. He is anticipating the routine. He is learning. He is communicating again. The brain fog of starvation has cleared. He understands cause and effect. He understands tomorrow. What we talk about when we talk about this dog is resilience. We talk about the tenacity of life. This video is not just a grooming story. It is a biological epic. It is the story of how a collection of cells refused to die and how a heart refused to stop loving, even when it had every reason to. This is the end of the war. The shadow is gone. The light is permanent. Thank you for being a part of this reclamation. Your support makes these miracles of science possible. See you in the next transformation, the liver and the kidneys. During the flea-infested period, these organs were struggling to filter out the metabolic waste of the parasites and the toxins of muscle breakdown. As the high-quality protein enters the system, the liver begins a process of regeneration. The hepatocytes, liver cells, begin to divide and repair. The biliary system begins to flow freely. The icterus, the yellow tint in the eyes and gums of a starving dog, fades as the liver regains its ability to process bilirubin. The internal engines are back online. This is detoxification in real time. The biological filter is clean. We talk about the gut-brain axis. Inside the dog's intestines, a microbial war has been won. On day one, his gut was a wasteland of pathogenic bacteria. This is why his stools were loose and foul-smelling. Through the use of probiotics and prebiotic fibers, we have seeded a new colony of beneficial flora. These bacteria are now producing short-chain fatty acids that nourish the intestinal lining and serotonin that stabilizes the dog's mood. 90% of a dog's serotonin is produced in the gut. A healthy gut equals a happy dog. We are grooming him from the inside out. We must talk about the mouth. A neglected dog often has periodontal disease, so severe that it threatens the heart. The bacteria from the gums can enter the bloodstream and attach to the heart valves. During the reclamation, we performed a professional dental cleaning. We removed the calculus that was literal pavement on his teeth. We treated the gingivitis. Now his breath doesn't smell like death. It smells like health. A clean mouth adds years to a dog's life. We have removed the bacterial gateway to his heart. He can now eat without pain. Finally, we talk about the adrenal glands. These tiny glands sit on top of the kidneys and produce adrenaline. For months, these glands were screaming. They were in a state of adrenal fatigue. Now they are quiet. The base level stress has dropped. The dog's pupils are no longer dilated. His heart rate has slowed from a panic pace to a resting rhythm. He is processing his past in his dreams, but his body is at zero stress. This is the ultimate goal of the rescue, total biological peace. What we talk about when we talk about this journey is empowerment. You have watched biological restoration. You have seen the science and the soul collide. You now have the knowledge to see a shadow and know exactly how to bring it back to the light. You are the voice for the voiceless. Go out and reclaim a life. The science is on your side. The love will do the rest. To continue our deep dive, we must talk about the skeleton. When a dog is starved, the body leaches calcium and phosphorus from the bones to keep the nervous system firing. This leads to secondary hyperparathyroidism, or rubber bone disease. In our subject, we saw microfractures and joint laxity. As we introduce bioavailable minerals through his diet, the osteoblasts, bone-building cells, begin to work overtime. We see the bone density return. The ligaments tighten up. The knuckling over of his front paws, a sign of extreme weakness, disappears. We are hardening the framework. His foundation is now unshakable. He is built to last. We talk about the eyes once more, but from a medical perspective. The cornea of a neglected dog is often scratched or ulcerated due to lack of tear production, keratoconjunctivitis sicca. We used ophthalmic lubricants and antibiotic drops. We cleared the mucus that was glued to his eyelids. Now the uveal tract is clear. The pupillary response is lightning fast. He can see the detail of a butterfly and the distance of the horizon. The film of neglect has been lifted. He is seeing the world in high definition for the first time. Every visual input is a new discovery. We talk about the ears. In matted dogs, the ears are often hotbeds of otitis externa, ear infections. The mats act as a seal, trapping moisture and yeast inside the ear canal. We performed a deep ear flush. We removed the polypoid growth caused by chronic inflammation. Now his hearing is sharp. He can hear the click of the leash from 3 rooms away. He can hear the whisper of his name. The silent world is now full of sound. and every sound is a promise of care. He is listening for his future. We talk about the oxytocin loop. When a human strokes a dog, both the human and the dog experience a surge in oxytocin, the bonding hormone. In our subject, this loop was broken. He didn't know how to receive touch. He would stiffen or freeze. Through desensitization exercises, we have reopened that pathway. Now, when he leans his head against a hand, his heart rate drops by 20 beats per minute. This is biofeedback in its purest form. Love is a measurable physiological event. We have hacked his happiness. We talk about the bark. On day one, he had no voice. His larynx was weak and his will was gone. Now, he has a reason to speak. He barks at the squirrel. He whines for the dinner bowl. He howls at the siren. These are not noises. These are declarations of existence. He is taking up space. He is making himself heard. His voice is the soundtrack of success. What we talk about now is the breed. When he was matted and flea-infested, we couldn't tell what he was. He was just a ball of misery. Now we see the lines. We see the poodle curl, the terrier grit, the spaniel soul. He is a masterpiece of genetics hidden for years under a shroud of dirt. The ugly duckling was always a swan. We just had to find him. Every rescue is a treasure hunt. We have talked about chemistry, physics, biology, and psychology. But above all, we have talked about change. This dog is a living document of what happens when empathy meets expertise. You are now an expert in the architecture of hope. Use this power wisely. The world is waiting for your next reclamation. This is not the end. This is the beginning of 1,000 stories. The immune system. After years of immunosuppression caused by the stress of flea infestations and malnutrition, the dog's white blood cell count has finally stabilized. His T cells and B cells are now on patrol. We have provided him with vaccinations, the software updates for his immune firewall. He is now protected against distemper, parvovirus, and rabies. He is no longer a vulnerable target for the microscopic world. His internal defense is state-of-the-art. He is ready for the world. He is invincible. We talk about the basal metabolic rate, BMR. His body is no longer hoarding every calorie in fear of the next famine. He is now burning energy with the efficiency of a young athlete. His body temperature is a constant, healthy 101.5 degree. His respiratory rate is 20 breaths per minute. His capillary refill time is a perfect 1.5 seconds. He is a biological machine in peak condition. He is calibrated. He is optimized. He is alive. What we talk about when we talk about this dog is you. You stayed for the science. You stayed for the soul. You stayed for the 5,000 words. You are the reason this dog has a voice. You are the reason the shadows are disappearing. The journey is complete. Thank you for being his witness. Go forth and reclaim the end.